here to remember those who have given their lives so that we have the freedoms that we enjoy. They were brothers in arms, but also brothers bonded by sacrifice. The Navy SEALs Nathan Gage Ingram and Christopher J. Chambers attempted to board an unflagged ship in the Arabian Sea that was carrying Iranian-made weapons to Yemen on January 11th of this year. As they were leaving their boat to climb the contraband ship, waves reportedly widened the gap between the two vessels. Chambers plunged into the water. Ingram jumped in to save them. They were never seen again. The dangers inherent with military service are especially so with Navy special warfare operators, but they exist in every branch and in every military occupation. Today we honor more than 1 million men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our nation while serving in wars and missions since the American Revolution. Each story is unique. Each story represents heartbreak to the family and friends left to mourn. There was Private Furman L. Smith, who served with the Army's 135th Infantry Regiment, 34th Infantry Division. 80 years ago, his unit came under intense fire from the German forces near Lanuvoio, Italy. Severely outnumbered by the enemy, Private Smith tended to seriously wounded comrades, even as others withdrew. Smith emptied clip after clip of his Garand M1 Garand rifle and killed at least 10 enemy soldiers before he was fatally shot. The 19-year-old from 6 Mile, South Carolina, was posthumously awarded the Medal of Honor. There was also Lieutenant Colonel Annie R. Graham, who served as Army Nurse Corps during World War II, the Korean War, and finally Vietnam. It was while she was assigned to the 91st Evacuation Hospital in Hoi Tui Hua that Graham succumbed to a stroke in 1968. She was one of 8 women whose names are on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. Colonel William Rich Higgins was a Marine who served as the chief observer for the United Nations peacekeeping mission. On February 17, 1988, the Vietnam veteran was driving on a coastal road in southern Lebanon when his car was suddenly blocked by another vehicle. He was taken hostage by Hezbollah terrorists. He endured months of torture before his captors released a video of his hanging. He was declared dead by the U.S. government on July 6, 1990. He was survived by his wife Robin and daughter Christine. As proud Americans, we should all remember that our freedom is not free. It is only possible because heroes, some of our own families and from our own families and neighborhoods have paid a high price. It's that price that enables us to have the ceremonies and observances like this in towns across this great country. The first Memorial Day was not called Memorial Day. It was believed to have been celebrated with a parade of freed slaves and Union soldiers marching through Charleston, South Carolina in 1865. Waterloo, New York is considered the official birthplace of Memorial Day because after the town held observances on May 5, 1866, General John Murray and General John A. Logan called all communities to honor the war dead every year. Logan had been impressed by how the South had been honoring Confederate soldiers for years. In 1868, Logan, who was head of the prominent veterans group Grand Army of the Republic, issued a proclamation that Decoration Day was to be observed nationwide. The date chosen was May 30th, specifically because it was not on an anniversary of a battle. It was a day to honor fallen veterans of all American wars. Even so, many communities do not want to observe Decoration Day because of lingering resentments from the Civil War. The alternative name Memorial Day wasn't commonly used until World War II, a two-front fight against tyranny in which more than 400,000 American service members would die. Among those heroes were men singled out by President Ronald Reagan as he stood at an outdoor lectern in Normandy, France on June 6, 1984. He said, "Behind me is a memorial that symbolizes the Ranger daggers that were thrust into the top of these cliffs," President Reagan said. "And before me are the men who put them there. Those are the boys of Point du Hoc. Those are the champions who helped free a continent. Those are the heroes that helped end a war." Many of the men rest in graves at Normandy American Cemetery. Others found peace in Arlington or in their hometown burial places like Fort Snelling. Many have survived the war, raised their families under the peace and freedom that they and their brothers and sisters in arms fought so hard to achieve. The American Legion Preamble, we pledge to preserve the memories and incidents of our associations in all wars. We do this not only to pat ourselves on the back or to impress people with stories of our own military service. We know what we did, but we are also witnesses. Veterans have seen heroism in its purest form. Veterans served alongside every man and woman that we remember today. One such witness was Lou Conter. On April 1st, 2024, Lou passed away at age 102. He was the last survivor of the USS Arizona. During Pearl Harbor observances in 2020, Lou said to the American Legion, "We're not the heroes. The 1,177 who went down with the ship are the heroes. You have to remember we got to go home, get married, have children and grandchildren. We lived a good life. Those who didn't get to do that should be called the heroes." Lou's sentiments, and undoubtedly influenced by his own humility, for he did serve heroically throughout his 26-year Navy career. But his larger point must also be remembered. We are able to raise families, continue careers, live good lives because of the sacrifices made by young men and women who never came home. We must always remember them. May they rest in peace. Thank you for being here. God bless America.